right, Lauren, we're going to get into the specifics right now about one of the financial problems that's facing many Americans, and that's the foreclosure crisis. It seemed to have hit around 2008 during the financial crisis. It's still with us today.
Yes.
And how do you see the foreclosure crisis in the framework of finding solutions? What is the solution for people who feel like, they can't stand up to a big bank?
Well, I think all of us would recognize that if we're being beat up by a bully day after day after day, or if our child is being beaten up by a bully, at some point in time, we put the line in the sand and we say, no more. These foreclosures are part of a larger scam, and it is to control us. We're much more manageable when we are in need, in pain, and all of the various experiences that emanate from that. We're very controllable under those circumstances. Very few people, as you know, Drew, choose to actually fight the foreclosures. They've been sold a little lie, a big lie. They've been sold a lie that said, you borrowed and you shouldn't have. And it's all part of plausible deniability on the bank's part, meaning that they can say, well, hey, we did this and they didn't pay. Now, the judges, especially initially, just reacted and responded the way they would have historically, which was, well, you took out a loan, you didn't pay it, you're in default, you lose the house, sorry. That was the end of it. But little by little, more and more people and more judges are unraveling this scam. And they're realizing that it was nothing more than a Ponzi scheme, and that it's time that we stand up to them. My advice for anyone who's confronting this, like I have 3 foreclosures I'm engaged in right now, and I just decided that you're most powerful when you've got nothing to lose. And you know what? They were taking everything I had worked my entire life for, myself and my husband. My husband passed away 11 months ago. But everything we worked for was tied up in our real estate, and because I was a home builder and a designer, I lost all of my jobs. And I had built 2 other homes. That one was $3 million, one was $2.8 million. Took me 4 years to build these houses, and I got paid nothing, not 1 cent over 4 years. Now again, you look at all this and you say, okay, my first inclination, my first reaction was, I'm ready to go jump off the Sears Tower. And I felt sorry for myself, and I felt like I am the victim. And then it dawned on me about 6 months into this that, you know what, Lauren? You create your own reality, therefore you created this experience. And so I thought, and of course my husband at that point is saying, Lauren, go read your book. His advice often when I was kind of getting off my path. So I recognized the fact that, okay, I've got to do something about this. And so we joined a group of people and we began to learn about the deception, about the scheme. And I was encouraged by this group that we had joined to sue Bank of America in federal court. So I said, okay, I'll do it. What the heck? I have nothing to lose. I just have something to win. And I really felt as I began to learn more and more about the scheme that I was seeking justice. And I thought, I've got to inform other people. They've got to know the truth. So
it's the same banks that gave people loans are integral to our economy.
yes.
And that means they're integral to the job situation. So I think it's fair to say that when people lost their jobs, that was related to the same people who run those financial institutions and some of these large corporations that offshored jobs or have been attacking unions. And so people have seen the costs rising because of this fiat currency where they're printing money since 1971 is when Richard Nixon said we're not going to have gold anymore,
Yes.
back the dollar. So we see exponential rises in the cost of healthcare, higher education. Buying an automobile used to be probably 1971 maybe $1,000 or $2,000. Now it takes $25,000 to buy a new car. Think about that. I mean, exponential increases, but the wages have not been commensurate. Those are not rising. So then it makes sense that there's a bubble and then that people can't pay their mortgage because their wages weren't going up. And the jobs, the good jobs, the manufacturing jobs, have moved first to Mexico under NAFTA. Then they moved to China, which is, communist, but now is playing the same capitalist game that we've been playing much longer. India is the new wild, wild west. They speak English, 1 billion people, so a lot of executives are looking forward to getting even more wealthy off of the people living in India, and they're not really thinking about how that affects the American middle class. They don't care if they can't afford to make the mortgage payment that they could 10 or 20 years ago. So I think that has to be brought to the forefront. Not just that there was a bubble, but that it wasn't sustainable. The people who gave us the loans were also involved in moving capital and labor to other countries.